just before we do get into things, I just have to explain a couple of things that relates to this site. The people that are here on site, when they do things here in relation to the embassy, everything is done voluntarily. They put their own time in and their own effort. The food that we have here is all donated. We've got it from different charities around Canberra. Apologise this morning about breakfast. We had no bacon. No one donated. But we do have plenty of eggs though. Yesterday was a good example for me how we can actually move forward. Just this thing here we put up here yesterday. Anyone that had any involvement with this, do this way to come. We actually had it up over there during the week. We had big wind. Came through and blew it down. What's happened? You get back up though, you know? You get up, put it back up again. We whinged and moaned, we bitched to one another. So we got it up. I mean, it doesn't look the best.
Can we pat each other on the back now?
It's standard. So basically, that's what we're talking about here today. We've been knocked out. The kid gets fucking knocked out. So we get up. We get back up and we keep going. Where this is going to take us, I have no idea. But it seemed to me, just to listen to people talking over there in the introduction, you actually have the answer. Just put all that together. We all talk from the heart, every single one of us. Talking with our emotions. And what we're actually talking about is power. We tend to think we have no power. In actual fact, we have more power than we realise. That's all we've got to do, just realise how much power we have. And we can change this country. We can make a big impact here. We can lay a foundation here that can last for another 40,000 years. And give our young people some hope in this country. That's what this is about, a bit of hope. Because for most of us seem to live in a life that seems to be hopeless. But everyone just here today just wanted to sit down and discuss and talk. As of yet, we haven't been arguing, but if necessary, it needs to happen though. But you can't let it get out of hand though. You keep coming back to what we're here for. And what we're here for is what we all talked about, coming together. And how do we formalise that? That's what this is all about. And empowering ourselves. So people can have basic resources, the basic necessities of life. In actual fact, I want more than that. I want to be able to build a future. Not for me, my time to do the art. For our kids, all of us. But as a people, understand, we have no concept of time. There's plenty of time, you know. We've just got to realise it and use it and empower ourselves. Where do we go now? I also know there will be other people here today. We'll invite them all in. We'll listen and contribute. We have some legal people come in. For me, we were talking about constitutional recognition all the time, you know, over the last 10 years and more. No one actually was telling me what's the implications of this. Where does it take us? Is it just more terra nullius? More bullshit? I think you all know the answer to that. It's all in your heart. The Spirit's telling you that. Needs to just realise how much power we actually have. Like Keiko was saying, stop being negative too often. You know, we always tend to dwell on the negatives too much. Look at the positives. I mean, some of the things that I'm talking about till the roof. And Malcolm Turnbull rejected the statement from Uluru. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that was the victory for this side here. We want to talk about real stuff, real things. The real thing for me is that word out there called sovereignty. And what does that actually mean though? And how do we realise that? And that's treaty to me. That's the way I can see it, unless someone else comes up with a better idea. That's why this gathering is so important. This is history in the making. Talk about the past all the time as being history. We're actually making it. And let's do it, eh? Let's make it happen. We are all. And where do we go from here?
Brushes in that back place.
Everyone to contribute. Make you feel free to talk, you know? Don't hang back, don't go home and say, I should have said this, I should have said that. Get it off your chest. And, you
Where do
know,
I put my mark?
And this,
I know I'm standing up on
that's
mark,
shining.
but where do I put my mark on this treaty amongst us all?
that's right. Are we of an agreement here that this is what we want to do? Man just said it, this is what we want to do. Where do we put the mark?
Point of reference, can we define what a treaty is? Are we under international law? Can we get a bit of background on what a treaty is?
International law is just an agreement between states, representative nation bodies or whatever. You can have domestic, internal treaties within groups. Just an agreement to do something together, basically, a formal memorandum of association, an agreement, a contract.
There may be some legalities that go side by side with the treaty. But I think, if I can make a suggestion, I think we all sort of come to an agreement that sovereignty and treaty is going to be the focus of this gathering and the talks here over the next 2 days. I think if we can break that down, I think a good question is what is a treaty? And I think the same question needs to be asked about sovereignty. And I think if both are going to go side by side, I think we need to look at how do we create a direction for them to go side by side with one another in what we're trying to do. I think first and foremost, what we might need to look at doing is how do we assert our sovereign rights over our individual countries. How do we make that legal in terms of each of our nations becoming a part of asserting our sovereignty. I think once we go down that track and we create a path that gives us that opportunity to assert our sovereignty, then that again goes hand in hand with the treaty, and we can start then to negotiate and discuss those domestic treaties amongst ourselves. So we're beginning to create a pathway for us to walk down, and not only just for us that are involved here now, but if it's going to be time consuming, well then we set the foundation so our younger generation can feed off the information that we're providing, and they can carry on with that pathway once it's established.
I mean, because those verbal treaties have been in place for 8,000 years.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is modernising those treaties.
That's pretty much right. Basically what we're doing is, you said, we're going to bring it up to 2017 terms, you know? That takes, this man don't like it, but it takes a piece of paper. That's how they work these days. But I believe that, we'll talk about that later. The general belief is this, that if we have, just say this is a collective of one mob, right? Cool, we've got a collective of one mob. Then we've got the neighbouring mob, so we go over and treaty with their mob. Now treaties can contain lots of things. You can treaty for water, you can treaty for trade, you can treaty for all these different things. But what we're doing is we're going to just treaty for the acknowledgement of sovereignty. And it's giving ourselves our own recognition, or acknowledgement, if you like, of these things. I look up the word recognise for you. But anyway, so that's what we're trying to head to. You know what I mean? So when we go to the point of we're going one mob, right? and I mean offshore now. So when we go to the point of one mob, we're still representative of sovereign in our own mobs, you get me? So nothing will be taken away as far as sovereign in your own nation will do. Nothing, nothing. All we're doing is accepting and acknowledging, recognising each other's sovereignty. Simple as that. Right? And then if this government, of course this government's not going to recognise its sovereignty because it's got a sovereignty under a different scheme. It's got a sovereignty, there is a sovereignty under common law, and there's a sovereignty under commercial law. It's two different types of sovereignty. Well, the sovereignty they're working on is obviously not ours. It's not common law, it's commercial law. But our sovereignty rings true. Okay, so if sovereignty rings true and these guys won't acknowledge it, and the only reason they won't acknowledge it is because the compensation payout will be huge, as you could well imagine, right? So what we do, we just treaty up these treaties with each other. We have one treaty that connects the whole mobs. We still hold on to our sovereignty, no matter what mobs we're in, we still hold on to our sovereignty. Then we take it offshore. This is what my belief is. We take it offshore to a foreign jurisdiction that is not held by bankers. It's the trick of the game, because every other country is held by bankers. So their sovereignty is the sovereignty of bankers, you got me? So we have to change that game around and say, no, we're not that deal at all. We're a different deal to this. You know?
Like more or less talking about like those war Korean treaties.
Go to Russia, mate. Go to the worst one. Go to Russia, mate, because Putin hates, everything that's the democracy. Okay, there's many other countries. Ireland's one. The black fellas over there. Ireland. There's many countries. There's 3 countries in the Middle East we get a treaty with, and that's the ones that the Americans are fighting at the moment. But if we do this treaty between each other, our associated mobs around us, and then have a connected one that connects all our mobs together as one mob, as we keep having on stickers on cars and stuff like this, one mob business. Once we get that mob, then we can be recognised as one mob overseas in different sovereignty, in separate sovereignties. It's easy. It's all we're doing is acknowledging each other's sovereignty, and we're all acknowledging to a whole on with our collective sovereignties. We are sovereign of our lands. End of story.
And we've had our treaties for 80,000 years.
Yeah, but the thing
We've
is,
had our laws.
we know, brother, but these people work with paper. Under international law, they work with paper, mate, so we're going to come up with something, a piece of paper that's got signatures, got thumbprints, whatever it may be. We don't really want signed natures, we don't want pen writing your name, you know what I mean, because we always know all those birth certificate names and incorporated entities. So we don't want that, we'd rather this. Thumbprint, or fingerprint.
Thumbprint or country name.
Or country name, exactly. You know, and a thumbprint. You know, that's all you describe, because when someone walks up to you and says, what are you Australian? You go, no, I'm mob, I'm this mob, I'm that mob. Well, are they Australian? No, they're that mob.
That's the sort of thing we've got to enrich into our young people, you know, like, where are you from? Oh, yes. No, where are you from?
That's the one.
You know, where you come from? Like, what's your language? All that stuff got taken away.
That's what we're teaching the
But
kids.
you know, there's one thing that's coming out of this meeting today, and we're all from all over the country, you know, we're representing our mob. One of the things coming out of this today for me is that we're going back to our communities and stop all this fucking infight and bullshit. It's killing our own people, you know. We're no better than the next black mob, you know, but they give us a bucket of money, chuck that bucket of money in there, get all our fucking mob fighting.
We're not white all the way too well, right?
Divide families. You know, and sometimes you don't want to get involved. You know, you think, oh, well, fuck, I'll just live my own life. But what's going on here today is all... Yeah, we sit in front of this White House here, you know. They make the decisions, but it's us people that live in it. You know? I worked for Aboriginal Legal Aid for a couple of years, and I'm sick of seeing my mob fucking incarcerated all the time. You know, because they got nowhere to go. You know, families are fighting families. We just got to stop all this shit so we can move forward as one.
That's what's happening in Western Australia too.
We're all bleed the same colour. You know, and I got no language. I can't talk like my elders, you know, and I want that. But you see our little poor eyes growing up, you know, and yeah, we're just losing. like brother boy said, hey, we're just losing it.
And we're losing them kids too, brother.
Yeah,
They're doing their
We're gonna
thing.
get to that game, Coco, make a big stand at them games.
Yeah.
Over to us, huh?
In
I'm
Western,
gonna be there.
in Western Australia, we only got
Gonna be
they're
there.
only going to keep communities open for another 2 more years, all the small communities. They're moving all the mob into bigger communities, and all the mob don't want to move out of their communities, small communities, because all their families there.
You know, I seen that thing on South Australia, you know, where they built that railway through the
Yeah.
burial ground, you know? And that fucking letter come from King George himself, stamped. So where's the,
We win with fourth place.
you know, and he said in that word, do not touch these Aboriginal people, you know, that's their land.
Weren't supposed to interfere in any way, shape,
They didn't
manner
even
or
put a
form.
bend in that railway line, they went straight over it.
You get
They're,
the
they're,
audio
they're
of
our
this,
ancestors, you know, they're our people.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, no film or photographs of this is detrimental to my employment. We need, my opinion is we've got sovereignty, okay, we got sovereignty, but do we have, and what is sovereignty? Is it not self-governance? Have we got our law, is our culture strong?
Yes.
Is that, we need to re-establish, we need to restore our culture, our laws, our kingship, our governance. Then they will deal with us because we have our governance, we have our law, we have our act. You have sovereignty. Get your acts drafted. Yep, because you want treaty, who you want treaty? What country, what people want treaty with what country? We are like Europe. We got Poland, we got Germany, we got Finland, but they all got different laws, different governance. That's us. We got different tribes, we got different laws, we got different cultures. You want treaty with who? We are not going to be one person, one body speaking on behalf of my people, speaking on behalf of Arnhem Land, speaking on behalf of Kalkarinji, anyone who got sovereignty. We got sovereignty, we got law, we got act, we got culture, we got elders. And when there's disorder, people disrespecting law, people disrespecting culture, people disrespecting elders. Why? Because there's no order, because there's no culture, there's no hierarchy. That's right, no kingship. We need to restore.
Well, that's the what Australia probably has changed the kingship business because
They
I
want
only
to
found
break
out
that
my
connection.
family like last year, mate, 2 years ago.
They've been trying to break that
1956.
connection from get-go.
Argument. They went, listen, we already got ours, 1975. Arnhem Pingari and Pingara Land Rights Act. That's the title, that's the name. Inside that whole document is Jugurba. Jugurba is Arnhem law. That is Arnhem people, Pingari and Pingara people. Everyone in Sulu. And PY Lord of Punja. We already got that, 1975. That's Jugurba on top first. An amendment is in 1981, and that's the Block Act, all the mining. No mining act, you want it. No mining in Uluru. Getting nervous.
We've got sovereignty.
You know, because we already put our sovereignty, which is our law, which is a Jugurba, inside that big document. Australia already got it. You know, and then we get to work with making into national park. Everybody for the world to come and see. Uluru. It's so strong under that already constitution, 81 constitution, us about South. That's why we can make all the big laws. Other
No,
day.
you stopped them climbing that
Other
rock
day,
now.
that for what?
You
That in your
stopped them
body.
climbing that rock.
Everybody
Everybody
needs to do
no
the
farming
same.
now.
Everybody needs to
No
put it in
farming.
writing.
So that's
Yeah.
why we're coming out, one of the people, everywhere around Australia, helping other Aboriginal people. My grandson, Murray George, senior GP lawman, he said, Jim, we got to help the people, help all the Aboriginal people. I'm a little bit nervous. Karnango first, Karnango separate.
You know,
That's all
Francis.
where we grow up, you know? That's me. But we're going to listen to our elders and our senior people. Me, smart one, coming along, working with the oil and culture, working with my grandson, you know? So, like I said, when Clinton, luckily you was here. I know everybody around the fire, like what everybody around today, is to go and get that document. It's the Arnhem Pingara Land Rights Act 1975, and then the amendment in 1981, and it'll teach you, it'll show you how to do sovereignty. You must have your own governance first, which one always talk about. That's our governance. Get your governance first, sort out your kinship, argument away, don't argument with the families.
Then you
And
control the mining.
make a whole
You
lot like
control
us, you know?
tourism.
All the people, I'm 43, my age people, young people, and make it, you know, make your own, but look at ours.
No offence to what you've said. No offence at all, right? It's a different cause. It's a different situation with the people on the coast. You know, it's a different
That's true,
people
that's true,
for you
because
and
that's the invasion
up and down the
first.
coast. You know, that's where the invasion
But that's
happened.
where treaty comes in.
So the thing is, that's why I say about treaty, about treating with the mobs that are around us.
To restore.
Because you recognise each other's sovereignty. And then it's sovereignty is recognised. Oh, hold on. There's sovereigns down there, there are black fellas down there, and you know, we go to, as I said, we go to, you know, Russia, whatever it may be. Oh yeah, them black fellas, they're sovereign down there. We find we get that bit of paper. Now we're sovereign. Then we go back to old Auntie Lizzie out there, clean, and we say, look, we recognise you. You owe us a bit of money here.
We already
I
got
know.
the people first.
I know
You can look at it
I know.
and give your understanding, and then you can look at that and you can read it and get your own for your own people. Make it individual for your
Yep.
own people.
And that's what we'll suit it for.
That's what
we
another
need to
thing
do.
that I wanted to say.
It's fantastic.
You know, I read this morning.
Each state's got their own. You fellas got yours.
That's already written.
You fellas got yours, what got Whitlam
Yeah.
and reneged on the National Land Rights Act.
A lot of people don't know.
Aye.
They can that's not anymore.
Oh, but it was, but the usually got yours, New South Wales got theirs, Queensland got theirs, and so that's all right with the white fellas law. You talk to anybody, and you ask them, how do you make a decision? How did your mob make a decision? How did your mob make a decision? The first thing that most people do in the native title stuff is that say, oh, we're a democracy. See the contradiction? Can you see the contradiction? Our laws work. It's not democracy. It's not Christianity. Our law is our law. And what some of our people do is that, like Brother Tobe and all us mob here, is if you practiced our law on the East Coast or you practice your religion, you just shanghaied straight to the concentration camps. Palm Island. You know, the people on Palm Island, when they were all set there 100 years ago, hope you don't mind me saying that, because my nana was set there, and my grandfather, and my mother and all their kids, and they spent time with the dogs. But when they were set there, 100 years ago, 60 mile, 40 mile off the coast, a lot of them never seen salt water before, and they were set there. They thought they were never going to see their mob, never come home again, never was going to come, and there were 70 different nations set to that place, 70. And they were all lawmen, they had law women, all in there from different mobs, stuck on one little island. And them countrymen with no Tobe can probably tell it better. But they were in such despair, such bewilderment of anything that they never get back to the mainland, never get back. And that, so they, all the old fellas got together, they got that Tribeca, they got their law, and they remade it. They remade it on that island to suit what they did. They call themselves, well, you come from Palm Island, you're a boogerman. Boogerman means you come from that mob there. There's many tribes, those 70, you're one of them. And all the old fellas got together and they put it together again. What we're saying is that that's just an example of what's happened in the last 50 years. But I think what we're all talking about here is that there's no one. What we've got to do is live it. You know, it's very. Look, when the Northern Territory Land Rights Act comes through in the
were up there, everyone was happy for the countrymen up there. Everyone was glad, you know. When the New South Wales people got their Land Rights Act through in 1983, everyone was happy. When they finally kicked out the Aboriginal Act in Queensland in 84,
Western Australia
people were
got
happy. Western Australia, you're still struggling, you know, and they're still attacking us. And so we're all, when it comes to the white fellas dealing out their justice to our people, we're all on different channels, and that's where we get lost. As soon as we start worrying about them, we get lost. Instead of worrying about what we should be doing ourselves. And when we come here today, we came here to talk about a treaty for the embassy, how we want the embassy to work. How we want this to work. How we want it to operate.
Now, people power.
But we got to spell it out. We've got to spell it down, right down to, so that if it works this time and we get it working this time, it's easy to apply it to other things, other than just an embassy. It's, for one of the better words, all them old trade routes, all them old song lines, all them old marriage lines, all our old kinship lines, they're the things that's got to come back into it. But if we're talking here, we've got to keep it in perspective, is that, you know, to listen to what Denise said over there about what is a treaty. A treaty is our law, how we relate to one another, how we get what agreements we want to have. Whether it's a marriage treaty, whether it's a trade treaty, whether it's a punishment treaty, whatever it is. The song line, ceremony, it's our business. So, but this time here, this is why we come in here first, is to work out how we want our governance, as Sister said over here. Our governance, not a democracy, not a socialism, not bloody communism, our governance. You know, and in hindsight over the last 40 years, maybe we're too bloody quick to adopt their governance. Maybe that was the cause of a lot of our problems in our communities.
Coco, I remember the time your daughter, was it put the flag up here?
Yes.
That was me.
As you said, we'll be getting that flag.
There was a whole lot of kids there too. There was a whole lot. She wasn't there by herself.
Yeah.
No.
I
You couldn't.
think, what, the last meeting we had here in Canberra, we distributed the treaty document that we worked on at the two summits in Alice Springs in 2014 and 2015. Those documents are still there. It's just a template, an idea of what a treaty could look like. And you just design your own around local conditions, local terms, the term, Wiradjuri term for law, the Anunga term for law, which is what that document is based on, because we did it up there in your country, up there at Alice Springs. One of the things that I think we need to do is set up our own bodies, our own authorities. There's a genocide tribunal that I think we need to set up ourselves. After the treaty process, when we have gone through a process of agreeing our directions in the coming years, and I think doing the local treaty and then the regional and then up to a national body is the logical process for our mob to take, and then setting up those instruments for our own people to be able to sit in judgment of the government and its acts upon us. We have no formal body, and that's what we need to establish. Referendum Council, Aboriginal Advisory Body, they are all instruments of the white government. They're not our instruments, so they're never ever going to be able to work to benefit us. We need to set up our own instruments where we know what part of the blade is sharp, where it's dull, where it's sharp, where you put the blade for the best result for our mob. You know, we need to start talking about that lines. One of the things I'd suggest, Brother Boy Coco, is you'll have the the inbred blue bloods up there next year. We do a declaration of independence again and present to them along with any treaty negotiations that we're up to by that stage next year. I would hope we'd have groups already signed up and going through the process of treating with us well and truly by, midway through next year. So we just begin those logical steps. We have to create these bodies because this mob up here ain't going to do anything other than, put us on this road where we've already been on for quite a while of burying our people all over the place. We need something to give our kids hope so they can stay alive, so they can become parents, so they can become elders and grandparents, so that they can teach the next generation. They're stopping this process of our young people having enough hope to continue to want to live. And that's what I want to see change amongst our own mob, where our kids aren't giving up and looking for a rope to end their life at the age of 8 when they haven't even lived a life yet. That's the sort of stuff we need to say, so they can see that we, regardless of what the government says, we are still on track with our aims and objectives for what we see as our self-determination, not what Malcolm Turnbull, not even what Noel Pearson decides what our rights as self-determining people are. That word by itself means we determine, not they determine. So, we have to do this, build it ourselves. And all the groundwork's already been there, the generations, the clans, the bloodlines, the totems, the songlines. Very strong on our country, besides the white man's best efforts to try and kill it out. And that's our strength, that's our model of success for the future, just our very resilience that we have withstood a Holocaust that nobody else on the planet could ever experience, let alone understand and articulate to the rest of the world. So, there are things we have to do as people. I'm getting older, we're all getting older. I'd like to see this state. Before this referendum, Shamoza, last year, who'd have thought a third voice, a third Parliament House would have caused such shock waves amongst them? Just having a discussion about a third house. Got Malcolm tearing his hair out, frothing at the mouth. Bring it on. I want to see him. I want to see him in a full epilepsy fit because of what we
One of the things I said when we come down there today, this is good when we're moving forward to a national treaty. But when we come here, how we want the embassy to work, that's what me as a Cooma man, I come here to participate in that. How we can walk away from here and say, I can say to the Cooma people, we're going to sign up to this treaty with everybody else on how our embassies should work. Then this might come out later, but I'm saying for now, there's nowhere else in the country where we've got something that people can say, well, this is how it works. Look at it. Yeah. What you got in PY is you got a law that was given to you.
No, it's
the 1970. You got your law, but in that.
Brown ruling first.
Okay. Now you're talking about the 1975 Land Rights Act. That's what you're talking about. That was given to you. That was given to you by these fellas there.
No, it wasn't. It was us. We done it first.
You negotiated.
It covers GY and also covers all the way to the Spindly and the people who worked there.
Yeah.
That's why that now person that time I met you, Jenny. You attended time.
Yeah.
He thought he was all the way being big spot,
Yeah.
We are. That's why me and when father, regular and family went there and seen what was going on. Then went straight to the top, Mary George, my grandfather regular road, because it fell on the day of the 26th October and hand back the other week.
Yeah.
My grandfather regular is in hospital. If he passes away, you gotta get rid of it. If he stays alive, he's alive back in regular today. I said, you've got to get rid of it. You can't destroy animal people because of this paper here, right there. And you can't destroy the Aboriginal people in Australia by Noel Pearson and them people coming to Uluru for the Constitutional Convention, there's a white man's word in a white man's meeting, and there's Rock Sword over there.
Yeah, I mean, that place was picked very deliberately because of its isolation up there. You know, we couldn't, if we were here in Canberra, we'd have had 40,000 blackfellas knocking on there.
And now the fights got squashed. Had it not been for that original 75 document and the 81 document, and people like myself to stand up for my people, smart young people, we wouldn't have been having these things in place. So we can just go, well, bang, 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 look at this here, make it possible today.
Yeah, but what Kako saying, Jim, is those laws they're legislated by this white government, the APY Land Rights Act, the amendment, that's all in their law, their acts of government.
It's our rules first. They came and they said, oh, we want this, that, and that. We said, where? This is our country, our land. Stop it. Go away with your little ideas because you sit up there and you sit back there and you sit back there. You don't sit here with us. This is our country. Go away with that suggestion. We want this here and we will not accept it until we get that there. 70, 69, 71, Uluru meeting first happened, 81 meeting first happened. You know? My mother.
Long time before Pearson was
Yeah, long time before, yeah.
But what we're saying is that in this, how we get back to what we had before they come here.
That's what I said. Everyone ran into the
Before they come
doesn't
here.
get legislated for them.
We don't want to be caught up in, I've got to tell you the truth, I don't want to be caught up in a
That's why you
piece
got to
of,
be your own individual.
I don't want to be caught up in a piece of paper where they could come and give me a basis card. Or they could send the military in on me. You know, this is what brother was talking about. Where we got to be in 10 years' time, where we've got to get support around the world from all these other associations, other countries.
We already got some international support. Already, we come under.
First we got to go back home, and I got to be able to go back to my Gomeroi mob, be able to sit down with them and be like, this is what we got out of this embassy. This is what the embassy's put on the table. I want to be able to go out and discuss that with my Gomeroi mob and come back to the table in a few months' time and say, we want this treaty with the embassy. We don't want to associate with them gubbers in no way, shape or form. Well, I know for a fact that I don't want to associate with them. Their law's not. I sat in a lecture hall this year and a lecturer told me that my law did not matter no matter how much Mabo fought. No matter what. Like, he sat there. He stood at the front of the lecture hall, told me my law was jack shit.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the type of thing.
Original race is a disgrace. They're teaching this in the universities.
Exactly. So
Next time I'll get that transcript and make it international.
So I don't want to deal with any legal acts or any government bodies or any state bodies. I just want to deal with my people and my people's ways.
Do we have a template of declaration of sovereignty that each people can take back to their...
Well, it's really...
Because we need a state-based
I
council.
think we just got to get back to practicalities. And the practical thing is that, look, we all turned up here. We want to participate in the treaty for the embassy. You know, that's what we want to do. One of those first things before we go into their thing is that, you know, use our own words, use our own phrases. You know, well, you know, we should have a heading in there in the treaty about how do we make decisions for the embassy. How do we make who represents, who can sign the treaty. You know, these are the simple things that we should be able to answer here now. Yeah.
We gotta go back to I gotta go back to Noah country.
Yeah.
And that's when you go back to your country, what are you going to tell
This is what we want.
Yeah. And what you're going to say is that one of the things that they spoke about down there, they're saying, well, who can sign this treaty? You know? And one of those things that we talk about, what sort of decisions do we want to make? You know, the whole thing about, you know, the clans or a nation, you know? How do we accommodate that? One of the things that we work up in this our mob is that we go back to our clan mob. Now, do we as countrymen here, do we want to say that if we're going to have a treaty of how this embassy operates, who do we say should be able to sign up to that treaty?
That's like the second way, just with the clan. It's got to go really back to the clan. And I think what we're all really talking about national governance, really. That's what it is.
Yeah. And everybody's got to sort of like understand where they come from. And they, you know, like here in Canberra, with no disrespect to anyone, we've got an elected body here where not all of them are, none of all descent, you know, they're not from country. But they have been here on country for a long time and they feel their place here. But when does it come back to the proper protocols in moving forward for all of us as Aboriginal people? Because you know what? The community here is so diverse. Where are they? We've got 6,000 blackfellas here in Canberra. Where are they all? You know, there's a few here that I've noted, and I reckon it's deadly that they're here. But you know, how do we move forward if we can't unify with the rest of the mob and have them think in a proper way, instead of thinking about self-agenda and white agenda, they should come back to black agenda. It's the patriarchs and matriarchs of the clan. The bosses.
Don't follow that.
Just touching on the treaty between clans, the paper idea is amazing, but I think if possible and an option, could we maybe do a message stick where our lawman starts it off, does a, you know, an engraving on it, sends it to the next clan, so like a lawman and a youth would sign it maybe, and a woman, and it sort of unites the clans that way through the old ways. Like, we do need the paper because it's the new days, you know, but I'd like to see a message stick created. You know, like lawman Billy T would pass it to someone.
I mentioned that at the last meeting, but a message stick with a microchip in it, mate. For example, like the
USB stick, they've just the government sold land to Hawkhill Brothers for $79,000. Now these white fellas have made a profit of $4 million within a year.
But that same property, over the next 20 years, it's earmarked for $4 billion. And I'm proper scared now because this white government is, if you read the Australia-China Strategic Agricultural Development Plan, China last year bought 15 million hectares of agricultural farming land. And they're looking at the Ord River and the Gilbert River up in Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia off to the right there. But what happened was the Chinese have put $7 billion into the Melbourne shipping port. They've put $15 billion into the Gold Coast region. They're about to buy an island off Tasmania. They've purchased to the west of Geelong. They're buying land along the Gilbert River. And the reason why I'm really scared is that China has a population of 1.4 billion people, but because of their one-child policy, they don't register the children, the second child.
Can we save that until the appropriate time
No,
on the agenda?
Okay, the WIC people...
No. We're on the agenda. This is what we're talking about. If you want to save that, I'm just asking in all respect for everyone's time, stick to the point. And the point is that what the young fellow was saying there about message stick and representation, everyone's come here with that mandate, Uncle.
Yeah.
We've all come here with that mandate to represent our mob and to come away from here with a draft, hopefully at the end of the day. And I totally sympathise with what you're saying, and I want to hear more about that, and so does everybody else, but let's knock this stick over before we go.
It's just because of the treaty that the WIC people signed.
Can you just elaborate a bit more on that? I really like to hear it because they've just entered into an economic treaty, and people are talking about decolonisation, independence, and stuff, and they're certain that. So, Uncle, with all due respect, can you just finish? Is that all right?
I want to knock one stick over and then go on to the next stick. Otherwise, we're going to be here. I'll be coming back here for 30 years. I'd like to walk away this weekend with at least a draft. And if people want to talk about economic treaties and marriage treaties and then the other treaties, they're the next sticks that are going to be knocked over.
Well, only one treaty we want is...
But what he's talking about is actually a group asserted their independence and their sovereignty.
Well, can we develop a treaty that's signed through this as a parliament here?
Sorry?
Well, I think that's a good
As a
idea.
temporary sort of parliament until something is erected in, you know,
I wouldn't go that
No,
way.
really we should call it parliament, but
We don't have authority.
As soon as we go that, as soon as we go talking like that, our mob are gonna choose our way.
no, what I'm saying, we're jumping too far ahead to the authority. What I'm saying is that basically give this NBC some sort of power of authority. The reason I say that is because when I go back to Campbelltown and I talk about what the embassy said down here, they go, who? No, there's no acknowledgement. This is where the power is here. Small knowledge is
I
here.
think this national
When it comes here.
culture and
They changed the
law
laws
should
up
be
there,
an
we make it.
annual thing. We should hold it every year, and we should have all representatives coming in from the clans to have a talk and build from that. This is a really good initiative, but it needs more
I don't know if
coordination.
you're, I don't know if your country, but I know in my sort of country, there's like my elders, one's Lady Timbri.
Could we call a bit of an order? We're jumping around and shutting other people off. Allow people to talk whether we agree or not agree, but also be aware of our time limits. We're not going to just sit here and listen to other people just talk and talk. Fake, you want to say something, say, brother.
What's the name? I think it all really comes back to the key word Linda said, decolonisation. We're very colonised in our minds, and our people are very colonised. We might be look black, we might all, you know. No, but you know, like we're very cold. We might look black, but we're white in our mind. You know, it all comes back down to decolonisation. You know, decolonising our own people's minds and whatnot. Like every time I'm in these spaces and whatnot, like we hear talking who we are and our family and our, you know, on the ground and whatnot. Whereas you go to a land council meeting, I'm so-and-so CEO of this, you know, talking about they represent their organisation, you know, we're here on the grassroots and whatnot, but they still our people. So they're colonised, right? We've taken the steps to decolonise our minds and whatnot, you know, take these steps. And I think that would be, you know, it all underpins each other. Sovereignty treaty, decolonisation all underpins one another, that, you know, you can't really have all, like, I'll be butting heads, you know, if we're, like, all these type of people think about what their world looks like, what their jobs are going to look like in this supposed, you know, new world that we're going to create for ourselves and whatnot. But, yeah, I think decolonisation is an important thing to champion and to tackle. As, you know, but how do we do that? You know, it's up to however you, know, liaise with where you're strong or whatever. But yeah, I just think that I've had enough of this fucking just white-minded black fellas, and and it's an important thing to tackle. You know, decolonisation, and you know, we're very just wanted to say that. I'm not for that public speaking or anything like that, you know, but I just think it's an important topic to, you know, take on. Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah, no, that young man, he was talking about the message. My elder from up north there, Judel, he talked about the Woomera. The Woomera been around many years. Come from up there all around, up the way. Like, so, you know, they already done all the stuff for them. We here to, for the real deal, you know. But the message thing, we talk different way. We say Woomera. The Woomera, they've been already gone through from them, our people, so we sit there and talk for the real deal.
That's actually what we're talking about. You do it your way. You do it the way your mob do it, you know? Not what some other mob doing over there or that mob over there. You do it your way. You know?
And that's the thing, you've got to take it back to your communities, and we've got to teach our young people, teach my cousins, you know, or decolonise your mind. It's feral for me to go home and I see that my mob in Narrabri are celebrating Invasion Day with their white mates down the pub. Like, I hate that kind of thing, because I'm out here in the street and they're looking at my Facebook thinking, what are you doing out there? Like, decolonise your minds. Like, we're TOs with the Pilliga Forest, you know? Like, that's my grandmother's country, and that's one of the biggest coal seam gas mines going at the minute. And it's literally, it impacted the water so much that they can't even use it for consumption. And that's like, nobody out there is doing that. They're getting sick by it. It's like, we don't need to live that life. Through a treaty, if we all talk up and we get back to basics, we get back to law, we decolonise our mind and we revive our songlines, we'll be able to make a treaty, come here, and then, you know, push that treaty on a national, international scale. That's the type of thing I'm talking about.
Isn't that the sort of stuff we're actually really talking
That's
about?
what we're looking for.
Reconnecting our songlines and human tracks, you know? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Take a photo look at what's this saying. A lot of the fracking out there where she's talking
Got to give them
about.
the reason to get out and fight for us.
The places where she's talking about up there where the fracking is happening is a good place where we can start those domestic treaties, because a lot of the fracking up in that southwest Queensland country extends from basically the centre of Queensland down into New South Wales, and there's a lot of traditional owner groups that are associated with that artesian basin. A domestic treaty amongst all those different nations will be able to assist in protecting that environment. So there's some of the things that we can look at in terms of how treaty can benefit our communities, and maybe a place like that would be a good start where we can trial and look at how we enter into those domestic treaties and hopefully see how they work.
Got that coal mine up there.
Yeah.
There's your classic example, a domestic treaty amongst the neighbouring mob. The Pilliga got a lot of clans that are associated with the Pilliga from all sides of it. They put, it's called the lungs of the Kamilaroi. And we know that it is. But all of you local mob, they're treating and saying that native title, we reject native title laws in all its application. Our law is the supreme law of this land. You are trespassing, get off our land.
And then those ones that still haven't yet decolonised their mind, they've got the legs pulled out from under them because there's treaties. They can't speak for because of that treaty. There's the authority of all the others going on, but you're breaking what we said.
Well, look, our people have gone to the white man in good faith for the whole time they've been here. Our good faith has always been chucked back in our faces. So let's remove that from our armour. We don't go to them in good faith anymore for anything. We set our systems up ourselves, for and by ourselves. Those tribunals.
So what are the
domestic
foundations?
treaty that overrides their native title laws and says we have a right to defend our land, and then you can call the mob up, and if they're going to fight anyone over it, fight the white man or fight the architects of the native title laws, not fight each other in what we don't even know the blues about anymore, which is how we get defeated all the time.
I read.
What are the 22 nations who signed treaties amongst themselves that Michael was talking about? I mean, they don't have yes. Well,
No, they tried to do it. They married down the but what they did they tried to do it, and all they did was cause a whole lot of strife for themselves because they didn't get it right.
Individuals that was
You had people on there that were signing it.
well, how do you get a mandate from a nation to represent? I mean, there's no way in the world, I say I'm a Wiradjuri, but there's no way in the world I would say go and speak on behalf of Wagga or Condo or wherever.
I think there's something
Well, that's why we were saying, this is why I asked the question before, right? Who do we allow to sign up? What we had, and then if we're saying it in this way, we're talking about clans.
Yeah.
But your mob, Peaches, they'd sign up. If it was Munro's or it was Wharton's, we'd sign up. And we would tell every Wharton would know that we have signed on that line and this is where we stand. And if one of our fellas buck up, they get sorted out.
Same thing, BYO Law and Culture. BYO Law and Culture is all the different families, but all the different Jugaba law. You come under Jugaba law first, before your family. And then they let the PY Executive Committee, that covers all the law and covers all the APY land. That's our bosses. When I'm one boss for that, my grandson Murray George. When you put instruction out, you've got to go with it. Doesn't matter if you personally don't like him, or that person on their board, once they set the order out, do it. Go back to your people and really talk together within the kinship, no argument. Make something like us mob, BYO Law and Culture, Executive Committee, BYO Law and Culture, to go out and fix up the kinship. Start to do that all over again. Not just old people. young people, different age people, you know, even kids. That's how we do it on our way. So that's what I'm saying, you know, you can learn from us, all of these models, you know, for everybody in this country, Aboriginal people.
Maureen, Council of Wiradjuri Elders, they got their Council of Wiradjuri Elders. Just need to get the invite to go to that meeting.
But sis, you're a classic example of how that elders
That's what I meant.
and does not work.
Look, it don't, I know.
Embarrassing.
It's shame.
It was embarrassing to go to, I got bloodline connection out there too, like all them other elders that were sitting around there, but not one condo elder recognised.
That's it. There was no one there.
No one. But I got a brother on there.
Yeah, but no one got selected. That's what I'm saying. There's a council out there, right?
Yeah, I know.
And as Jenny was saying, perfect example. They look. They had no idea. They didn't even have a what's name, like an agenda, no nothing. So there was no condo representatives in condo. The meeting was in condo. There was none there.
They saw through it. Oh, well, you got only Bonnie sitting in the meeting on the first day, and they're round about elders from condo. Who's there and who's the elder? That woman's older than most of those elders. That was all of their areas.
Yeah, there was no one there.
And that's why we bring it back to here. If we can show the rest of the country that we've got something that's working, a model that can work, maybe the applications become easier. But if we can work it out for the embassy, it does two things. It strengthens us as a fighting force, and it actually displays to the rest of our countrymen how it can work.
It was insulting. The business they conducted was all white people. I went to talk to them, the mob there, about this meeting, and I was left to the last minute on the last day.
Yeah. Actually, I only started crying, to tell you the truth, because look, all my elders, all my father's line, I've got no aunties, no uncles, no nothing, I'm in. And when I had to have a look around in my country, and look, where's my people? There was no one there. And there was two old elders there, two old women. You know, they couldn't handle it. They was there for the first day and then they hooked it. They couldn't come back the next day. And I nearly started crying because there was no one there. No one. And then, you know, the little kids, they were just running rampant, jumping over these fellas' motel rooms all night, you know. There's no real strong role models out there. There's no real strong men, no warriors for these kids to look after. No strong women out there. They're all gone because the fracking, all the mining companies that are going through, sucking all the water out, pouring cyanide in from the Lachlan River, travelling all the way right down through the Murray-Darling Basin. Well, guess what? I'm in the middle of that country. I'm in the heart of Wiradjuri. We hold the heart of the water for the rest of the world as far as I'm concerned. And once they started mucking around with that there, they'll kill the rest of Australia. Well, I feel responsible for that because I'm the next one up. There's no more of my elders left. Excuse me.
See that one, Irene?
And them old fellas over there behind you, like the young elders.
Yeah, you forgot that, was it?
To answer your question about that one, that's how they buggered it up. That's how Gillan and Brett buggered it up. That bloody end there thing. And that's why the mother mob come down here looking for Gillan the other time.
Well, the women are the strongest.
That don't get him up. And this is what we're saying, if we're going to do it, you know, we got to do it
That's what I'm
properly.
saying. How do you get a mandate to represent
Your clan.
your
You
family?
get all your mob together.
Your family.
You get all your family together.
It's not a nation, it's a clan.
You get your clan.
Coco, something got to be written up here. We can take back to our
Bingo.
clan.
And that's why we got to say, that's why we're saying one of the important things that go into the treaty is who can sign it. Who can sign it and what you want that treaty to do.
Clan groups, you know, your matriarchs and your patriarchs are in charge of the clan groups, from what I understand of our system. The elders, the males and the females. And there is no boss in it. They're both equal.
That's why all of us are here, I think, is because we've taken that responsibility on our own shoulders for our own family. And I like the idea of what Coco said about the clan treaty. If I myself can speak on behalf of my family. That's why I attend these gatherings and have my input, because I have that responsibility as the patriarch of my family. So it'll be good if we can all honour that responsibility and acknowledge that responsibility that we hold here as attendees at this meeting. And it'll be good if we can start to look at our next phase of the course can maybe look at a treaty that we can all enter into here on behalf of our own clan groups. Because we have that role, we have that responsibility because we've taken that on by showing our presence here. And if we can enter into that treaty, then it is something that we can take back to our communities and to our own individual clans and hopefully push that and encourage them to become involved.
All right, what you bring to an authorisation meeting, I would say, would be your genealogy then?
Yeah. Well, if you're going through that way. But I think you've got to turn up and you've got to have this, if you're going to stand up here and you say, well, I represent my clan, well, that's what you
bring your genealogy.
You bring a letter or something, or did you register that? We have a register?
Well, maybe just the next phase.
We have a register.
What we're saying here is that we don't have the mandate. We don't have the responsibility to enter into any discussions or treaty negotiation
But we do
on
actually.
behalf of our clan.
Yeah, that's what
There
I'm
are
saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We do.
Some people here.
So we have the mandate, we have the authority here to do that on behalf of our own family. I'll enter into a treaty agreement if I agree with the dynamics of that treaty, if we come up with it here. I'll enter into that on behalf of the Hartland clan. And I can take that back to my clan. And I can show that to my clan and hopefully encourage them. And not only that, I can take it back to the other members of my tribe and say, this is what I've done on behalf of my clan members. And hopefully we can start to get them behind us because I don't have no family behind me talking on behalf of them. And this is a good template we can start from.
I talked to a lot of the councils. We still got councils up in Queensland, like Palm and Sherbrooke, and that they have elected councillors. They run their own Shire council. So when we're talking about a treaty about how the embassy should run, a lot of those councils want to have input.
Well, then it's up to them to be part of this.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, this is why I say that an important part for a treaty for the embassy here is defining who can be a part of that treaty. You know, are we going to let the Catholic Church be a part of it? Are we going to let the bloody Quakers be a part of it? Are we going to let if they want to be a signature to the treaty?
I think we have to deal separately.
I'm not asking people to answer that question, I'm just giving them an answer. But yeah, go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
You got the floor.
Yeah, and I speak because I'm not part of the treaty. I see it is you need to get your treaty, but get support. I was born here. This is my country because I was born here. But you are the last of the oldest in this country. Therefore, we want to get behind you and support you. So get this treaty done and then start to sort where you can get the support, because there is a lot of Australians born here, not Aboriginal or First
Being
people.
born here doesn't give you ownership, darling. You're
I
third or
understand
fourth-
that.
Let's play. You're third or fourth generation.
years.
Exactly.
That's the problem. Many white people have come here and think because they're born here they own it. No, that is not the case.
Can I answer that one?
But listen, we're not talking about arguments about body.
Yes.
On full respect, Auntie Jenny, I know what Auntie Jenny's saying. We're talking about treaty.
Treaty, and that's what I'm saying.
Treaty.
Treaty will involve
Let's keep talking about it. We jump off track all the time. Let's stay on track.
I just want to finish one thing. This is not about, I'm not part of this treaty that you're talking here. I'm saying once you get your treaty, then those that have the strong love of this country, because I was born here, I still love this country. There's got nothing to do with ownership. I don't own anything. That we can still get behind you. There's a huge body of people who support you, and we can get behind you. But this treaty here, what you're doing, is relevant to get you having that treaty. And then you can pull in the rest of us who support your treaty.
Can I just, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, first time I came to the fire, Uncle Coke was at Brisbane Embassy after the 40s and all the fires went everywhere. And Uncle Coke was there and he said, you know what? Sovereignty means bringing everyone along.
Yes.
And it does mean bringing everyone along. But we got to work amongst mob first.
Yes.
So your turn will come, but then we don't want you behind us. Then when that time comes,
that means you'd be beside us.
Yeah.
Yeah? But let's leave it to them.
Further on than that, a place of a ally isn't always leading the discussion. Yeah, it's not. But that's just it.
If you
Yes,
turn the
this-
lights off, we're all looking the same.
That's true.
Yes, and I've got
We've
family
had
around the
electricity for a
world.
few centuries now.
I think we all,
Okay, so, sorry.
No, come
I
on.
think we all need to recognise too, not everybody wants a treaty.
That's right.
I mean, fair enough, some people, their culture and their connection got, taken away, and we need to accept that. And a treaty would be beneficial to clans like that, to restore their culture and their law and their kingship. But there are clans that have sovereignty, they have clans that have their kingship, their law, their culture in place. We're not looking for a treaty, but we are happy to share our knowledge of how we got that authority to make decisions on our land, mining, tourism, anything. We make the decisions. We become self-governed. We make, instead of tourism coming in, bringing 300,000 people through our country, stomp all over it, take the dollar, off we go. We want to do that, so that money we can build our own generations, our own electricity, our own housing, our own health clinic, and have that money come back to us. But yeah, not everyone's looking for treaty, and we need to respect that.
Yeah, well, we want.
But the one I'm looking
Why
we invited everybody here.
Where we come from.
Why we invited everybody here is to talk about a treaty for how we want, and governance of how we want the embassy to operate and move forward.
We need to recognise everyone's sovereignty and that sovereignty being guided by this embassy. That'll be an ideal thing. I know you've got all your powers up there, and maybe it's great, it's fantastic, and all those
That's
things.
leading towards
But
white
we're
people,
talking
isn't it?
about the rest of the country here, and we've been through the fight for how many years will we fight these guys? The same sort of
Because
way
we
we're
got the law
going.
in writing. We got the law in writing.
That's what
There's
we're
a
saying.
lot of clans with no law in
We
writing.
know that, but the thing is that
But that's why we come out from
on the
Bush
coast
Northern
is
Territory,
on
you
the
know.
coast is a different game, mate.
But that's why we come out to help people. Like we came out in 2000 to help with Sydney Olympic to help the people. They invited us, animal people, to come and help.
The treaty we're talking about here is
No?
only to recognise each other's sovereignty. It's nothing
Yeah,
else,
well,
more than
the
that.
big Tuggerba law that connects us all up through this Munda country on the land is Gunga Kartakampa, it's the Seven Sister. Started with Wiradari, Western Australia. We've gone right through Jenny Munro's country. That's that Tuggerba law that connects us all. Everybody should be learning and listening from that. If the Tuggerba law doesn't come to your country on the Munda, on the land, you got it there. Kalani Tuggerba in the star. The people everywhere in the Kapitairing, up in the water side, you'll find the last one too there. That's why we put it there in the National Museum until February next year. And that's a children's thing, you know, but it's public knowledge, but it's still powerful. That's why we invite everybody to go to the National Museum across the road there and open your mind up. Get your people, if you're connected through that Gunga Kartakampa Seven Sister, and start using all that. Start getting your sovereignty, start getting your Tuggerba laws on your animal specific, you know? But to do it like that way, you have to have that way.
That's documentation, that's a living documentation of evidence, demonstrating.
Find where that Gunga Kartakampa Seven Sisters is in your country. Get it. Get it, put it in the document. Get it. United Nations, Aboriginal people in this country, Australia, if you do your sovereignty in the document, and then you already got your tribal lands, put it in from Seven Sisters, run it straight to the United Nations under tribal land, bang, that's it.
That's right.
Can I ask you something, my sisters? Can I ask you something? Does that treaty or whatever agreement you've made with that 75 Land Rights Act, whatever it was, does that stop all the disadvantages that you're suffering today? Does that stop your kids from dying today? Does that stop them from killing our people in jail?
We can only take care of our own.
I know, but that's why we all gathered here, sisters, so we can come up with a national solution that can help all of our mob.
That's why I said before earlier to invite to look at that, you know, and use our model.
But we listen to what you guys have been saying, but you guys are not listening to us.
I know, and I'm sorry.
You know
It's
what
what
I
I
mean? It needs to be a two-way street where we understand where you guys are coming from,
Yeah.
but you need to understand where we're coming from as well. We came here, we put our presence here on this site because of its neutrality, so that we can have our say and have our voice. And what we're doing is we all came here together on the basis of sovereignty and treaty.
Yeah.
And that's the discussions that we should be taking.
Well, that's why it's not coming.
And what we've been saying here from the start is that treaty is going to be the strength that we give to each other. The treaty is going to be something that allows me to sign into so that I can stop these bastards up here killing my younger generation. I want these bastards up here to stop mining my country and taking gas out of it and digging the piss out of it. I want them to stop.
Do something
And I
else.
can see that what we're doing here today is going to assist me in doing that.
You need to act.
But we need to start to come up with some solutions.
You need to act under the United Nations, same like us. That's why we have so much power, us mobs, and that's why we're able to just send one little phone call, one little message, bang. You know? Need something like us. Strength.
Treaty is just an agreement like a DBA. It can be broken.
Well, can I just say something? I think we just got to start at a level that we all agree on and work, because that's good information from everybody. But it's where we are now, what we have to decide, and be like neutral in a safe place where we discuss stuff here. My name's Steve, and I come from Dubbo. I'm Bradbury. But the thing is, I can go on about my side of clan, whatever. But today is about to design that framework, and I think that's what everyone's all here for. What we sort of go distracted. So I think it's a good thing. But,
It's not even, the design's already there. It's in our footprint, it's imprinted in our DNA, all of it. The system that we grew up, the system that Sister Girl Jumping is talking about, that's our system under cultural law. We're talking about it under a political system, which is just how it dissects all the time and clashes across the lines. It's the same message, basically. It's how we do it, and it comes back to the family and the clan group again. You see, with the referendum and how they set up all the orgs, the statutory body groups as the ones that will be the organisers, the be-all and end-all as far as treaty negotiations are concerned with this government. They are the problem, they're not the solution,
Yes.
and that's what we need all of our mob right across the country to recognise. Our law comes back to what Jimpin is talking about, those clan line, bloodline, soul line connections. And that's what we have to strengthen. It's already there. We've survived more than anybody else on the planet has survived. So I don't know how much more they can throw at us.
Well, we've got to ask ourselves today what we're going to take away from this meeting and move on. So I'm grand table with everybody. What's the object of the day, what we're going to do, and how we're going to reach it, and be very positive and walk away with a good feeling that we do go and do something really deadly for each other. Because we all, like, we're all from this country.
We've come a long way already just by finding the common ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't want Aboriginal people up there making decisions for us, telling us what to do, you know?
Exactly, but we've got a forum here. We've got to find out what we really need today to do.
The truth.
Yeah. So if we go away today, we've got to know what we're going to ask to do now, what we're going to do today. What we're going to hear, what we're here to do, what's our main thing we're going to walk away.
Well, what I want to do is make sure that through the embassy that we've got an alliance of nations or clans that are willing to work together to fight this system. That's the intent.
I think for all of us, we've been on the front line for a very long time, but we need to be also prepared to put our hands up now and say our clan will come with you in your fight next year with the rest of the British world, the Commonwealth. In the Commonwealth Games, I mean, our clan will be there, brother. We've got to...
The first thing I say, when you know why these fellas invented that word lateral violence? You know why this is very important you understand this. You know who invented that phrase lateral violence? All the sellout, gammon black fellas. Because they didn't like being challenged by another black fella. As soon as a black fella walked up and you pulled him into gear, they run away, oh, lateral violence, lateral violence, lateral violence. You know, they did. They invented that. So that they could control, the gatekeepers invented that phrase so that they could maintain their status quo.
Yeah, within the white system, not our system.
Now this is why we're coming up, and our worst enemies are those gatekeepers. And what Brother's saying is what we're saying is we can walk away for a direction for this embassy and galvanise the strength of this embassy as countrymen.
And work the details out later.
Well, the details are working themselves out. We already working out who can be a signature to this treaty, the embassy treaty. The national treaty. This is the national treaty. This is the template, and we're still going to be working that one, and we're still going to work on it. But at the moment, we can deal with this embassy, or with the treaty for the embassy. How our countrymen want to come together, form an alliance, and be able to keep fighting for this one.
Show me where to make the mark and I'll do it.
Yeah, same here, brother.
Right now.
Okay, well what we've got to do is that we got through one stage about who's going to be who can sign to it, right? What we've got to do is basically some of the phrases out of here conform the intent. I think the other thing that we've got to bring it down a little bit further is that in defining this treaty we've got to recognise the role of the TOs here, the Wiradjuri and the Ngunnawal people. That's got to be spelled out in there. The law, you know, and then it goes on to the next phrase of our decision-making process. How do we define our decision-making process?
No.
More so,
Every time I go home, I
Sorry.
always talk about wanting a treaty, wanting sovereignty.
Yeah, they're the aims.
But the people at home in Brie, go away, Mark, they don't know what they're talking about. I just come from a meeting from the embassy, and we've all agreed that this is the best for Aboriginal people.
Well, we're not agreeing on what the
And
best.
they go, but Mark, you don't know what they're talking about. Well, where was you when the meeting was held in Canberra? You was up here tipping the brown bottle up. You didn't care. No, it's people in our own communities that are going, no, we don't want that. And then after people say, yeah, we want it. It's a split group, you know. How do we get around it?
No, that's their choice. They can reject it or they can be a part of it. We're giving our people that option to actually decide whether to be a part of it. Now, a good example here, you know, is a thing called native title. Native title, whether we like it or not, is actually ceding your sovereign rights. And you have particular laws, and those particular laws are governed by that act called the native title. Now, people don't ask the question, what's these other people that haven't got no native title but still attached to that land? What rights do they have in this system? Well, they do have other rights in this system. In actual fact, what I'm finding, what I'm being told, they actually even have more rights. The property rights are not being extinguished like a native title has. Who they are. They have not ceded who they are. You have ceded that under native title. And that's what we're actually talking about here in relation to our treaty. The people, it is a choice we make as a people. Not everyone's going to agree with this. But it's also what we put on the table for the people who want to know where the hell are we going to go. Let's start somewhere.
Yes, and this is a start. This is not the end. We don't have to come up with the final document. We come up with the ideas, put it on paper, and take it back to our clan groups. That's the start.
And realise the step. This is the step we are, the level.
That's really what you were saying.
We're not going to win the war tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
This is going to take a little bit of time.
Because we come in with a lot of motions.
What's been suggested.
We come in with a lot of motions and we really
One conversation.
Sorry.
Oh, just before I finish, lunch is at 1 o'clock. And after that, it's been put to me, do we want to break into two smaller groups, men and women? I'm putting it on the floor.
Yes, no. That's what the meeting's all about, when you give options like that, don't you? So.
Pick up the phone.
Toby, you want to
I'm Toby anyway from Palm. I know I'm getting a little confused here. The way I think now, the treaty is a commitment to each other through the clans, That's what we're here for, this treaty to come to an agreement through the clans and each other. And that commitment, that treaty, that's what the commitment is to each other as a nation through the clans.
To realise sovereignty as a nation.
Yeah, but through the chair, and then, that treaty is a commitment to each other, and that commitment then is toward sovereignty. Does that make it more?
No, we already got sovereignty. Sovereignty is already, we already got sovereignty.
Yeah,
Treaty is down
but
here.
this is the overall.
Let him finish, please. Let him finish.
To back that embassy there towards sovereignty. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this one here.
The treaty,
This
the
one here.
commitment to each other.
This one here is a national treaty.
Yeah.
What we got here is a working treaty of how the embassy can operate.
To come to a commitment to each other
That
and to the
commitment
plan,
and alliance to each other.
the overview of the Aboriginal nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Yeah. That makes no difference.
Yeah.
And the commitment is then towards the ultimate goal, which is that embassy is our sovereignty.
It's the ties that bind us, as far, that's how I think of it, and we will become as tightly bound as we are committed to it. It depends on the individual. That comes down to an individual choice again.
Yeah, agreed.
Now get this template for that treaty toward each other.
Good explanation of the treaty. Before we take it back.
Two treaties we're talking about. One the national treaty.
Yeah.
Right? And the other one is the treaty for how we want to work as an embassy. That's the two.
Yeah, we can word that.
Because you still got, remember, we still got the Victorian government. They got $5 million. They're talking about treaties down there. They're already, and I'm sorry, the Melbourne mob not here, but they've relayed to me a lot of the problems that they have down there.
There's some alarm that's been generated with how they're doing it.
Well, they haven't even, see, down there they haven't even, I'm not going to go off to, I'll come back to it after lunch, but, and then you've got the the South Australian government allocated $5 million, and then you've got the Queensland government that's going to announce after the elections, they'll allocate money for it too. But these fellas, if we don't get it together here, they're going to bamboozle it and they're going to bugger it up. Because it's the white fellas that are going to be supplying the $5 to $10 million for the process, and then they'll have people up there making decisions that shouldn't be there because they're speaking, as you kept saying, this is the law that matters,
Yes, it's
And one part, we know that our law is made up of many different stories, 7 sisters. We also know that we've got the Woomera law. Woomera law where Kuyalam, I'll tell you our one, he comes up where Kuyalam, he met that fellow with the bow and arrow up there in Kurak country, up in the Torres Strait, they call it Torres Strait. And he fought that fella when they come there with the bow and arrow. And he took the Woomera and the spear. And he beat him. And then he took the bow and arrow and the spear and he broke it and he threw it back at him and he grabbed the yam stick and he split the earth between us and them and created the water. And he gave us the law, Woomera law, and that's the one thing we share amongst all of us. We don't all play Yidaki, we don't all play didgeridoo, but we all carry the Woomera. And what enabled us all to live on this country, this continent before white fellas come here, is the common law. Jennifer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion, after lunch, if we're going to split up into groups, maybe we can split up per state, because then the clans that are together, closer together,
Like
can,
Western Australia,
can talk, and then come back together.
Because if you're doing sovereignty treaties, you'll have to work with your neighbours, so Northern Territory and WA, you know what I mean? So Queensland and, you know, what's, I don't know what this matter, New South Wales, things like that. Don't have male and female. If we're going to do sovereignty treaty in this country with each other, we need to get to the states, so Northern Territory and WA. Logan, is that okay? Well, suggestion anyway, you know?
Suggestion, I think we need to run off each other's ideas, and just maybe men and women is probably all right, but we need to come back at the end of that process again. So I want to suggest we split up into states per se. I mean, we're talking about clans now. Let's bring it back to that clan model rather than the state.
I think you've all got to stay. Well, I think you've got to break up into men and women, because that's the song lines that hold us together. You know, that Seven Sisters, that's a woman's song. The woman one is a man's one. Yeah. And that other part of that called the other in the middle of there, that hair belt, that's another one. It's those song lines that go from Mornington Peninsula up to Wyndham, and from Darnley Island or Bardu over to Heron Island.
That's our treaty, those song lines. We've done them, we've danced them, we've sung them, we've cursed them for thousands of generations. Got to remember those are our treaties already there.
You know, my granddaughter, young woman, Terry Lee, has her husband there, couldn't cry, name my grandson, because of my granddaughter. He walked that Tuggerba line, the Seventh Sister, everybody's country. He done that.
And that's why we got that other one, this one called Woomera, that comes from up there and goes right across there. And then we got the other one that keeps us close to, and then we've got all the other smaller ones that run left and right and across.
Just need to reconnect them all.
So that's where we've got to keep them.
But we can anyhow, you
But
know.
it's those national law ones that's got to keep us together.
The top one.
And maybe that's something that should be talking about, is that when we're talking about it, you just go into detail about it. Maybe what we've got to be looking at is that woman's place here and a men's place here. Those two boars.
What do you want to know? Man eagle. He fly well, baby. Kunga Kalajaya. Kunga Kalajaya. The woman, Kunga Tree, pink and white one. My prettiest bird ever. She's got the strong law. That's why she got that today. You know, follow. That's another Tuggerba law that we can learn from and follow.
And we've got all of them. We've got some other ones where the Westgate legal come from your place. Straight across to our country.
Right over there. Yeah.
And then we've got that pigeon that goes from you fellas down in South Australia, goes all the way through the June up to Dormitory.
When I'm being ran by serpent connects us all.
It's 1 o'clock now.
Lunch is ready, it's 5 past.
Can I just quickly, all Wiradjuri people, can we just stick around for a 5-minute meeting, please? All Wiradjuri?
I just want to reiterate once again on behalf of everybody here, our admiration, our deep respect for this young man, who by his efforts, walking from one end of the country to the other end, has brought us here today. And, you know, thanks